What is going on? I hope all is well. Merry Christmas for everybody watching on Christmas Day, because it's Christmas Day as I am posting it on Christmas Day. But it's a Tuesday that I'm filming on the 23rd. So I hope you guys are all doing well. This video is going to be a little different from what I've been putting out recently. And it's just going to be a check-in video. I want to start at the end of every month doing like just a monthly check-in. See how you guys are doing, and I'll tell you guys how I'm doing and my thoughts about random stuff that's happening in my life. So first, how are you guys doing? If you guys are DJs, I hope 2025 was a fantastic year for business, and I hope it grew from 2024, and I hope 2026 will be even better for you. If you're looking into becoming a DJ, I hope, I don't even know what I hope for you, to be honest. I don't know what you need. Let me know what you need if you're a DJ. And if you're just an engaged couple that likes to check out my content, I hope wedding planning is going well, and I hope your wedding, if you already had it, went well. How am I doing? I'm doing okay. I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. My sister and my mom's coming up for Christmas in a couple days, so that's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a good time. Yeah, wife and son are doing good as well, so things are good on the family front. Business wise, I don't know. And business wise, I'm excited. I'm excited business wise because 2025 doubled from the amount of shows that we do compared to 2024, which is insane to think about. And 2026 is looking like it's gonna do more than what 2025 did. So I'm excited for the growth of the business. But with the growth, you have to put different systems in place. So right now, I didn't do a lot of tax preparation, so I shot myself in the foot with that for 2025. So I've been hiring tax strategists and then accountants to do my taxes for me moving forward, and to figure out strategies that make sense for the business to save on taxes so that I could give more, or reinvest into the business more. But the business is going well. I'm really excited about where it's going, and I like all the guys on my team. There's a ton of potential new DJs that are interested in maybe working for us. So I'm excited for the training season that's to come, because usually I don't do a lot of training in season, and our season in Iowa, in the Midwest in general, is pretty much like April through October, where there's some stuff that sprinkles in there in November, December as well. And we just don't work really January through March. So yeah, for these next 3 months, usually I spend that to either, continue to develop the DJs that are on my team, or, start training up new guys to potentially do work for the company in the future. And I'm excited about some of the guys. I mean, there's probably like 4 people in queue right now that want to learn how to DJ and possibly work for us. So that'll be fun and exciting. And with that, obviously, if we're training new DJs, then we need to put the infrastructure in place with marketing to make sure that we have work for them, to keep them interested and engaged in what we're doing for the business. So I've been looking at marketing and different marketing ways that we can expand and explore that might help the business. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope that goes well. I'll keep you posted maybe next month on how that's going. But really, no, honestly, now it's just the time to learn how to stop working. In season, we're go until we get burnt out at the end of October, and then we muster up the strength usually to finish out the rest of our work in November, December, and then usually New Year's Eve. That wedding is going to, take us to the next 3 months of boredom. And usually in the past, I haven't done well with that boredom. First couple of weeks are fantastic to just relax and not do a whole lot. Usually I always fall into some type of winter seasonal depression, just because, I'm not doing a whole lot. Nothing is really keeping me active like wedding season does. Even though I do, still have my sales meetings and different things like that. But in the past, it just hasn't been enough, and I always fall into some type of, bad mood, essentially. But I hope this year will be better, because, my wife bought me a piano for Father's Day this year. So I've been trying to teach myself how to learn the piano so I can keep myself busy this winter with that. Also with training for different DJs that are brand new, don't even know the first thing about DJing, that's going to keep me really busy as well. And so I hope with some of those things, I'll be able to keep myself busy. And I've also challenged myself in the last couple of weeks to start going to more networking events. I got a friend in the financial space that gets all of his work from meeting new people in different cities and networking and doing business that way. And I'm like, he inspired me because I'm like, I don't know what I don't know. And I don't know what relationships I could have if I don't put myself out there to try to meet people that have something that might be beneficial for me or me beneficial for them or vice versa. It doesn't matter. So I've been searching, researching events, and there's an event in Des Moines now that I'm going to start going to every Wednesday morning. They meet, and of course there's some other things in Des Moines, and it's the winter season now, so of course there's a bunch of like wedding vendor type networking events to go to in Des Moines, and also Minneapolis, Omaha, Kansas City that I've bought tickets for as well. So I got some stuff spread out as well. So that's gonna keep me busy and interested and keep life fresh for me as well. You see me drinking wine. I want to touch on this. I should have touched on it earlier, but I am a wine connoisseur. That's not true. That's not true. But I do enjoy wine, red wine specifically, and I like wine culture in general. I got into it because I planned a surprise trip for my wife in 2022 to Paris. And from my discovery, I learned that, there's a huge wine culture in Paris and France in general. So I wanted to just be able to know what I was doing when I went out there to go out to eat, or if we're just in social spaces. I wanted to know a little bit about wine when I got there, and I started drinking wine, and I was like, this ain't half bad. And I started building like an enjoyment from it. Cabernet Sauvignon is usually my red of choice. But today we are drinking a Zinfandel. Is that how you say that word? Zinfandel? I think so. It's called Moss Rocks. It's okay. It's a 2020 edition. I think I'm just a fan of Cabernet in general, but I usually like to try a bunch of different reds in general. So I think in this video, every time we do a monthly checkup, I'll probably buy just a random bottle of red and talk about my thoughts on it and and sip it throughout the video like I've been doing today. This red is nice, it's easy. It's easy. It's nice. It's a little bitter though, I'm not gonna lie. It's not bitter is not the right word. It's just not doing it for me fully. I wouldn't buy it again. But it gets the job done. What else is there to talk about? I don't know. I started this YouTube channel just I started for many reasons and many hopes. But I think the biggest reason that I started it is because I just feel like I do not have strong communication skills. I've always been telling myself and now my wife that, I just feel like I've always felt like nobody really cares to hear what I have to say about certain things. And with that thought, I've always just kind of been more reserved and kept my thoughts to myself. But because that, I don't really have a whole lot of practice in speaking, especially just speaking on my raw thoughts. And so with that, I'm making the YouTube channel to consistently post weekly videos to challenge myself to speak on topics that I know about and just to speak in general, with hopes that I will become a better communicator and hopefully not impress people at networking events, but more so make an impression when I am out and about and meeting people and doing these networking events to build the business. So yeah, that's where we are. I really don't like being on camera. I really don't like being on the microphone as a DJ. Like, I'm so introverted. Like, I get so nervous the first time that I have to, get everybody's attention to announce that introductions are gonna happen soon. But as soon as that first announcement is done, then usually I'm over it and I can just be on the microphone. So I've grown out of it, the nervousness and the introvertedness. to an extent, but still naturally, like I just really don't like speaking, especially speaking in front of a bunch of people. So I'm challenging myself with this YouTube video and these videos I create to just speak more freely, and hopefully something good comes of it. So I'm sorry that sometimes my thoughts can be like non-cohesive, or it doesn't make sense with the train of thought for what the video is for, but it is what it is. I've been racking my brain for the last couple of days, just figuring out how to break into different markets. Right now, I've been in Des Moines since 2019. So I've been in this market for the last 6 years or so. And I feel like I've done a good job building a strong reputation so that now I can book other shows for my DJs based off of my reputation. And now some of my guys are building their own reputation so that, they're booking themselves off of their reputation, or maybe it's overflowing off to the newer DJs on the team. That's really cool for Des Moines. But whenever I am trying to go to a different city, it is like pulling teeth to try to do any work. Like we have another branch in St. Louis. That's where I'm from. The business is honestly my pops. JM3 DJs comes from him. His name is Jesse Martin III. So he started the brand when I was young. And of course, the story, he taught me how to DJ young. I went off to college to Iowa, brought a system, decided I wanted to do weddings, and it just became a career. So now we're the same brand operating as two different businesses. There's a separate, his business is in St. Louis, my business is in Des Moines. But I do want to see the success of St. Louis improve, because we have a DJ in St. Louis that does work in St. Louis and Iowa. And for the growth of the business, it makes more sense for her to just do work in St. Louis so that she has that work to do here. And then I can, book another DJ on my team in Iowa, more work. So there's more work to go around in general, and business just goes up in general. That's the thought process. But for the last year and a half, maybe 2 years of effort, man, it's been like pulling teeth. 2026 is promising. We did a couple wedding shows last year in St. Louis that got us, last year. So that'll be 2024. Yeah. So we did a couple wedding shows in 2024 that got us maybe 2 or 3 weddings in St. Louis, which was pretty cool. And I think we're planning on doing the same thing to hopefully book out some more shows in St. Louis to start getting the ball rolling on building a reputation in the area and getting some vendors to know who we are, to trust that we'll bring a good service in St. Louis. But man, it's been hard. I don't really know what I'm missing. So if you got any advice, you can feel free to comment on this video and let me know. But it seems like breaking into new markets is very challenging, because it seems like every market has a different need. The need in Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, the whole state of Iowa, the need is, I kept hearing people say DJs are so trash. Everybody just push play kind of DJs. They just, press the play button, let the whole song play, and then they stop it. There's a couple of seconds in the middle of just no music, and then the next song comes in. And people have just been begging for more DJs in Iowa that can mix. The bar is on the floor. The bar is on the floor. But I've took advantage of it in Iowa, and I've been able to myself provide that product that people really like, and also duplicate myself and other DJs I've been training to provide that product as well. And it's been pretty successful in Iowa. I don't know if they're saying that in St. Louis, though. And maybe that's the problem. I don't know what the need is in St. Louis in the DJ market. And in the same breath, I want JM3 DJs to be just a Midwest company. I want us to have a core of DJs no matter where they are, and we'll travel most of anywhere in the Midwest. Like Des Moines is super centralized in the Midwest, so we could go to Minneapolis really easy. It's 4 hours away. Omaha is 2 hours away in Nebraska, so that's super simple. Kansas City is 3 hours away, so we should be able to, just by the distance, we should be able to tap into that market as well. And then, of course, there's Iowa City and Dubuque that we already have some relationships out there, but we don't go out there as often, so we can tap into that a little bit more as well. And then, of course, St. Louis, our second home base, we should be tapping in there, and it's decently close. I mean, it's a 5-hour drive, so you have to plan it out a little bit. It's not a 5-hour drive. It's more of a 6-hour drive. So you have to plan your trip out a little bit more, but it still should be something that we can do. And, I just want our DJs to be so talented that, we're being sought out from guys in Minnesota and Omaha and Kansas City, St. Louis and Des Moines regularly, so that everybody has a little bit of travel. Everybody can stay local if they want to. And there's just more opportunity for work. I just want my guys on my team to have more opportunity for work. So it makes sense in my head to try to expand to different cities that are close by to tap into multiple markets for the same people, and hopefully more opportunities come out of that. That's the thought process. And that's what we're trying to get going. Oh, but it's been exhausting. I'm not going to lie. It's been exhausting. But honestly, things take time. I mean, it took time to build a reputation in Des Moines from 2019. I started January 2019, and I don't know if I had an established reputation until 2022. Maybe we can say 2023. I think 2023 it was solidified, and 2022 was like, who's this guy? So even then, that's 3-4 years of work that it took to get a reputation. But my struggle, though, is that I was still able to book work in 2020 and 2021 before then. Like, it wasn't like my schedule was just completely completely empty. It was just I was booking stuff at a lesser price to keep the schedule full. But now that I think about it, we're not going back to that price in St. Louis because it's not profitable to us to go all the way that low. So we can't really go that low. So I guess that's the problem. Just not cheap enough. Just not cheap enough to build a reputation quicker. So I guess it's just going to take longer because we're charging more money for our service, which we should be, because I think we show that value. We're not just anybody out here just putting out systems just to say we're doing it. But that's where I am. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's a very mentally engaging task. But it's exciting in a sense, and it's challenging. I don't like challenges usually, but it's a good challenge to try to take on, because really I'm growing the business to give other guys opportunities for work, because I want to be a positive impact on the community. Does that make sense? Obviously, that's not the only reason. I want to make more money, and be able to provide new things for my family. So sure, that's probably the main reason why I'm building a business. But I also love the aspect of giving guys an opportunity to do something else and maybe something better with their lives. I think that's why I like specifically to train DJs with no experience at all versus people that have already been in the DJ game, because it means a little bit more. I don't know. It means a little bit more. Definitely. It means a little bit more to me. For sure. I don't know. I think this is the Lord's work in my life. But I got to figure out a way to get it going and continuously get it going. But hopefully the things in place will help. I'm going to some different networking events, like I mentioned, in Minneapolis, Omaha, Kansas City, St. Louis, and Des Moines this winter, to try to get some things off the ground in those cities and continue to build relationships in Des Moines. Because if you're not growing, then you're losing business, essentially. You can't be stagnant in business. Stagnant means you're decreasing. You can't ever stay the same in business, because if you're stagnant, that means you're just missing out. You're falling behind the competition. Whatever, it doesn't matter. If you're not growing, you're not doing it right. So the goal is to continue to grow, and those are some of the steps that are happening with that. I've also been I've always been big on being close to the Lord, and I've been doing some different things to keep me in the habit of being in my Word and praying, so that I can at least have the consistency. Because I don't think I always feel close to the Lord. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know if anybody ever always feels close to the Lord. There's seasons where like we're locked in, you feel locked in, and then there's seasons where it's like, man, you're far away, brother. I think that's everybody, but I think the consistency in chasing the Lord and chasing after Him shows Him that you want Him to be there, and he is there. No matter if you feel Him or not, He's still there. You can't get rid of Him. So I've been trying to do my part, which is being consistent, and I've been doing that. I found out from my grandma that there's this Bible study called BSF. Off the top of my head, I think it's just Bible Study Fellowship. That's what the acronym stands for, BSF. And it's a group worldwide that does a year-long study. It's more like 9 months and you got summer off. But every week you meet up and you'll do the study on a specific part of the Bible. You'll meet up to talk about it. And then the next week, there'll be a different part of the Bible. And during the week, you're reading different verses and answering questions every single day that regards to that week's study. And then, every week, me specifically, we meet on Monday. So every Monday, then we'll come together and talk about some of those answers together. And then we have a big lecture with the entire group at the end, going over everything once again. And that's been really good to just help me understand a little bit more about the Old Testament right now. And keep me grounded and keep me engaged with consistently being in my Word, praying. And my prayer life has been okay. I can only ever find myself praying about me or my family, like, which sounds super selfish, but like I never am ever like, man, I ain't seen Andrew in a minute. Let me go ahead and pray for Andrew. Or pray for the world, that the world, more people can find salvation, that the Lord would draw more people into the gospel and the truth about who Jesus Christ is. I won't say never, but often I don't find myself in those prayers, and I struggle with the idea of me just being super selfish and I just keep it selfish, just being super selfish on my needs and not worrying about other people's needs. And I want to change that. So I think I'm going to try to start playing better as well. As well. And I would, encourage you guys to do the same thing, because there's nothing more important in life than our standing with the creator of the universe and our Lord and Savior. But honestly, there's no work that you have to really do to accept His love. I was just reading a verse in John, I think it was John 6:29. He was talking to His disciples and He was like, the work of the Lord is this, to believe in the one He sent. I'm like, it's that simple? It's always been that simple. It's just believe that the Lord came, that Jesus came to die for our sins, rose on the third day to conquer sin and death in general, so that we may be set free from our sins. That is the work of the Lord that I learned today in my reading John. And so it's that simple. But at the same time, I want to show the Lord that I love Him, because there's another verse in the Bible, I have no idea where it is, that says, If you love the Lord, that means you'll follow his commands. If you love God, loving God means following the commands that God has given. And I think the command is not necessarily study the word, but at least be in tune with the Lord in that way. Because that's pretty much the only way you can be in tune with the Lord is to study the word so that you can know what he is asking you to do for real. So that's the first part. So you love the Lord, you're in the word trying to figure out what he wants you to do and not what he wants you to do, because he wants you to believe in the Lord, but there's other commands that he wants you to obey that are really just beneficial for life in general. um yeah, I'm rambling. I'm not I love the Lord, but I'm not the guy that should be doing any Bible studies, if we're being honest. But I would encourage you to also dive into the word just so that you can be more in tune with God, at the very least, for sure. Because life, it don't get better away from the Lord. It may gratify the flesh a little bit better, but it's not going to get better. It only gets better with the Lord. So tap in with the Lord. Besides that, brother, I'm just drinking this wine today, getting ready for Christmas in a couple days, and doing some business strategy to see how I can grow the business further in the future.